competitive. But I didn't think it would be like this in a million years.
Fight of the year contender?
Well, I mean, the whole card was every fight on the card was a contender for fight of the year, but that was just something. I mean, I can't think of a recent. I mean, Tyson and Usyk, the class that they are, they both went in that unification match. That was a tremendous heavyweight fight, and this at the level it's at was also without doubt.
I know it's not always been the easiest person to deal with, Derek, but when he uses a moment like that and it still comes to mind to thank you for your part and to remember Dean Powell.
I've got to be honest, it's like you're sort of listening. And there are not words for it really, because Dean works for me for many years, and anybody, maybe some of you younger guys might know he was, but he was our matchmaker, and he tragically committed suicide, and he was quite close with Derek and so forth. And so it was a terrible loss, but for him to mention him, I thought was very classy.
Just off topic briefly, what do you think of Dennis McCann's performance tonight?
Well, I think Dennis, I thought that was a great fight. I thought he really boxed. He boxed extremely well against a guy who's got, plenty of ticker. He comes to fight. He cut all the way through, just coming to fight. And I thought Dennis boxed very maturely. He become of age tonight. He definitely came of age, and that was a fabulous performance. And there's some really big fights to be made now for him. There's another great domestic bust up between him and Liam. Down the road, there's just some really cracking fights that are there to be made.
Is Liam versus Shabazz still what you want to do this?
Sorry?
Liam and Shabazz, is that still what you want to do this year?
Well, that's going on first of all. That will go on when they're fit. But that will probably go on in. I'm probably being a bit presumptuous saying that he wins the fight, and Shabazz had a good win out last time, didn't he? With a tremendous finish. But boxing's so lively now. I mean, it's just unbelievable. The fights are out there, the excitement. We had a great show last week. I mean, this show tonight was just like fabulous night. For boxing fans, it don't get no better than this.
Frankly, how good was word on Moses in town? The sky's the limit for him after that win.
Well, that for me was a fight where I was hoping we'd get some rounds, because I feel he needs to get some rounds under his belt. And you look at what he's been the sort of gatekeeper for young heavyweights who coming through the ranks. Fraser Clark, Hughie Fury, Dillian Whyte, and all the older ones going back over the years, going back, and none of them stopped him. And they were all, and they were not certainly. Fraser Clark isn't a young heavyweight before him. Moses is 19. He's a teenager, and the way he dealt with it was unbelievable. And funny, Alex Krasik and Usyk both sit there. They look, and both of them said at the same time, "This is the future of heavyweight division."
I know he's only young then, do you try and find him rounds, or do you kind of let him off the leash? Obviously, that back
Look, listen, you've got to get rid of people in the ring. I want to see, I like at this stage of his career, see him, somebody setting him some problems to solve in the ring. But, he's got a superb jab. He's got unbelievably fast hands, footwork's really good, and more importantly, when he lands those bombs under it, it's lights out. I mean, that was I think that was a bit of a statement from a 19-year-old kid.
And Ryan Gardner was excellent against Archie Sharp tonight as well.
Yeah. I mean, that was a cracker of a fight, wasn't it? I mean, they were just all good fights, and that looked like the first 3 rounds that Archie was going to be on his toes, and he's going to sort of have to try and figure out how he was going to break him down and get to him. But he stayed at his task and done what he had to do, and came through. And he's had when I signed him, young Ryan, I thought he was one of our really, really good quality potential stars, and he started off like that. And I mean, if you any old footage around, I waxed lyrical about him and how impressed I was. But he had a few problems outside the ring and he went off the rails a bit, but we stayed with him. If you remember, he weighed in at 2 weigh-ins, he fainted twice. We pulled him off the card. And that was because he was doing the weight at the last minute because he wasn't training properly. And that's very dangerous for him to do that. But then he had a couple of problems, but he's turned his life around. He's married now, he's got a child, he's got another one on the way, and I'm thrilled for him because he's a really good little fighter. You know, Archie sort of had a little period of inactivity for whatever reasons. He's 25-0. He was number 1 in 2 of the organisations as mandatory challenger, but he's in activity. They dropped him down, I think, to 3 and 4 in the respective ratings. But he's this for him is for Ryan is brilliant.
Is it about negotiating Ryan into that kind of world title position?
I will do that. I mean, that's a no-brainer for us. I mean, we'll do that. We'll keep him going. I want to do a show down there. You know, you've got Ryan, we've got Mark Chamberlain, we've got young Royston, who done well tonight. You know, stepped up and had his first sort of little bit of a test, and we've got a couple of other youngsters from down there. I think we're definitely doing a show down on the South Coast before the end of the year.
Frank, we're seeing a lot of fights in the heavyweight division being made, especially with Turkey and that shakes influence from boxing. And you spoke about wanting Moses to get rounds in. Is a fight with Jared Anderson something you'd be to welcome for Moses?
He's fighting, isn't he, next week?
Yeah, but
we'll see a 1-3 fight. He's fighting for Cody.
If he can get a win against Martin Cody, is that something you look to see?
See what happens. Let's see how that goes. It's next week. That's another Riyadh season event, and that's a cracking card. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Frank, how close do you feel Joyce was potentially to stopping Chisora playing the later rounds?
Say it again.
How close do you think Joe was to stopping Chisora towards the later
I
rounds?
thought it was a couple of times he was. I really do. And I thought it was a couple of times Joe got caught with some really big shots as well. I mean, it seemed like it was a shot for him to miss. I mean, they were throwing, they were catching each other with. I mean, it was unbelievable, the resilience there. But one minute thought Derek was going, and suddenly he comes back throwing 4 or 5 punch combinations with some good shots. Then it was the other. Then it went the other way. It was a very close fight, and I think, as I say, the last 2 rounds, the tide turned for Derek.
Frank, not to discredit Derek, but what do you feel Joyce could have done better to maybe see through that stuff?
Used his jab more. Yeah. Like you look at that jab he was using against Joe Parker. That wasn't. There was a couple of times he was really looking good when he threw the jab, but he wasn't throwing it enough.
Is it a case of instruction, or do you feel he maybe can't do it?
I'm sure they were telling him to do the right thing, but he's doing it. Sometimes when you see 2 guys fighting like that, first of all, it's their age, and you wonder what they've got left in the tank. You know, wonder what it is, and and they just self-defense or defense goes out the window. It's like a Victor McLagan and John Wayne fight. That's before your time, though.
Anything in the contract would be a rematch, Frank?
That's too soon to talk about that. Honestly, I mean, that was such a unbelievable fight. And if there were going to be one, that would have to be down the road. I'll tell you that. Those guys have plenty of time to recover after that fight.
Frank, William White was ringside and he was talking to Chisora's management about a trilogy. Is that something you'd be interested in making?
You've got to get licensed first, and if he gets licensed, then it's all done.
Frank, can I ask you about Jermaine's debut? What did you think?
Sorry,
Jermaine, Derek's
I didn't see it. I haven't seen it. I'll look back at it. How did you look?
I didn't even watch it actually. Did all the guys watching it?
Awesome.
Frank.
Oh, it was brilliant.
Oh, because you started the show early.
Yeah. No,
Do you think he's got a future?
Couple more questions.
I'd like to have it. I'm sure he has. fights like his uncle, and he'll have a future, no doubt about it.
Raven Chapman made fifth defence of the title tonight.
She's done really well, didn't
Is she finally going to get that world title shot next?
Yeah, we'll make that happen without a doubt. I mean, we'll make it. I've got to be honest, I thought that fight could have been stopped because the other girl, she was 10 rounds behind. She never won a round, and it started getting her. And it's a funny thing with women's boxing. It's 2 minutes, and they throw lots of punches in fights. I mean, last week it was about Chantel talk about how many punches to punch that. But it is only 2 minutes, and they're throwing more punches than people do in 3 minutes. If some of these women's fights become 3 minutes, they certainly won't go as long as that.
Is it possible it's going to be an IBF world title rather than a WBC world title? Because obviously she dropped around the rankings.
Yeah. Will it be, for us, it'll be whatever we feel the best direction. We'll sit down and have a chat with her next week and make a decision. But she's lovely.
Hi, Frank.
So she's our queen of queens.
Hello, it's Ash from My Boxing Hub. So this is his third loss now, Joyce. Does it get harder to build confidence for fighters back after 1, 2, 3 losses? Does it get harder to build their confidence back?
Is it hard for him to come back? Yeah, it is. I mean, sometimes, but then Derek's lost 13 fights. You know what I mean? It's and he's still in there, and he's just won tonight. It's a win. You know, I think a lot of it is. I mean, have I got sort of custom on my face or custom pie on my face? I said 2 years ago you should retire. That's what I said, and then you look at tonight and he pulled it out of the bag again. 13 losses in his career, albeit against top quality opposition. But he pulls out a performance like that tonight.
It's obviously still like a massive draw. Everyone loved him tonight. Can you just kind of speak to Derek's legacy for British boxing? Can you speak to his legacy for British boxing in particular?
I was surprised. I mean, I sounds terrible. Like I'm sort of disregard him. I'm not. Like, I'm surprised how much the crowd got behind him. I mean, I've promoted him for many years, and even when he fought against Tyson, the crowd were behind him. He's now become I suppose, a bit like he's like the folklore of boxing now, isn't he? Derek Chisora. People talk about this fight tonight. It was a great fight, and good luck to him. It's a tough business, our business is tough. It's much tougher for the fighters, and when you're doing it at the age of 40, I mean, it don't get much tougher than that.
Frank, we saw Alexander Usyk here in attendance today, Tyson Fury earlier on the week, confirmed he's sticking with the same team. What can you tell us about in terms of update for the highly anticipated match between him and Alexander Usyk?
The update is, my friend, that it's on the 21st of September.
When is it going to be confirmed, though, Frank?
It is confirmed.
We've not seen anything on social media saying that's 100% done.
Of course it's done. We've announced it.
In terms of a press conference, an official press conference,
so we done that. It was done.